Today we're going to read chapters 12 through 14 of Sideways Stories from Wayside School. Chapter 12, Jason. Jason had a small face and a big mouth. He had the second biggest mouth in Miss Jules' class, and there were an awful lot of big mouths in that class. "Miss Jules," Jason called without raising his hand, "Joy is chewing gum in class." Joy had the biggest mouth in Miss Jules' class, and it was filled with gum. There was hardly even room for her tongue. "Joy, I'm ashamed of you," said Miss Jules. "I'm afraid I'll have to put your name up on the board." "That's okay, Miss Jules," Jason called. "I'll do it." Jason hopped out of his seat and wrote Joy's name on the blackboard under the word discipline. While he was up, Joy took the glob of gum out of her mouth and placed it in Jason's hair. Ronde and Allison giggled. Jason walked back from the blackboard to his desk and sat down. "Miss Jules," he called, "I'm stuck." Ronde and Allison giggled again. Miss Jules got angry. "Joy, you're going home on the kindergarten bus today." "Oh, good," said Todd. "I'll have some company." Todd went home on the kindergarten bus every day. He could never seem to make it to 12 o'clock without getting into trouble 3 times. His name wasn't even up on the blackboard yet, but he knew that by 12 o'clock it would be up, checked and circled. "Miss Jules, what am I going to do? I'm stuck. I'm going to have to stay here the rest of my life," said Jason. "Joy, tell Jason you're sorry," said Miss Jules. "I'm sorry, Jason," said Joy. "Oh, that's okay, Joy," said Jason. "I don't mind." "Try to get up, Jason," said Miss Jules. Jason tried. "I can't, Miss Jules. I'm stuck." Miss Jules asked the 3 Erics to help. Eric Fry, and Eric Ovens pulled Jason. Eric Bacon held the chair. "Stop," cried Jason. "You'll rip my pants." Ronde and Allison giggled. "All right," said Miss Jules. "Let's try ice water. That should freeze the gum and make it less sticky. I'll go get some from Miss Mush." Miss Mush was the lunch teacher at Wayside School. She had the remarkable ability to undercook a dish and overcook it at the same time. Her specialty was a nice hot bowl of mud. She called it porridge. Jason looked at Ronde and Allison. "No more Jules," he said. "Don't leave me. Besides, Miss Mush's ice water is probably warm." "Don't be silly, Jason," said Miss Jules. "I'm sure it will be at least as cold as her soups." Ronde and Allison leered at Jason. "No, Miss Jules, don't go," begged Jason. "I'll be right back, Jason," said Miss Jules. She went to Miss Mush for some ice water. As soon as Miss Jules stepped out the door, Ronde and Allison jumped up from their seats and started to tickle Jason. He laughed until his hair turned purple. The girls got back to their seats just as Miss Jules returned. Miss Jules carried a big bucket of ice-cold water. "Oh, no, please don't, no," Jason pleaded. "We have no choice," said Miss Jules. She threw the water all over him. "Well," said Miss Jules, "try to get up." Jason was drenched. "I'm wet and I'm cold and I'm still stuck." "Oh, well, I guess it didn't work," said Miss Jules. "At least we tried. Now I guess we'll have to cut your pants off." Ronde and Allison giggled. "No, Miss Jules, no," Jason screamed. "I don't mind being stuck here. I'm actually really very comfortable." "Don't be silly, Jason," said Miss Jules. "Don't cut off my pants," said Jason. "The 3 Erics can carry you to the bathroom," said Miss Jules. "I'll ask Louis to call your mother. She can bring you a new pair of pants." The 3 Erics took hold of Jason's chair and turned him upside down. "No, Miss Jules," said Jason. "Now I'll always have a place to sit down. I won't have to worry about finding a seat on the bus." The 3 Erics began to take him away. "Wait," said Joy. "Miss Jules, if I can get Jason unstuck, do I still have to go home on the kindergarten bus?" "All right," said Miss Jules. "If you can somehow get Jason free, you don't have to go home early." "Don't trust her, Miss Jules," said Jason. He was still hanging upside down. "I'll just kiss him," said Joy. "No!" Jason screamed. "Don't let her kiss me, Miss Jules. Throw water on me, tickle me, cut off my pants, hang me upside down from the ceiling, but don't let her kiss me." "I'll just kiss him on the nose," said Joy. "We've got nothing to lose, Jason," said Miss Jules. "Ooh, who would want to kiss Jason?" said Allison. Jason hung helplessly upside down. Joy stepped up and kissed him on the nose. Jason fell out of the chair and hit his head on the floor. Ronde and Allison giggled. "Darn," said Todd. "Now I'll have to go home alone again." Joy erased her name from the blackboard. Chapter 13, Ronde. Ronde had 22 beautiful teeth. Everyone else had 24. Ronde was missing her 2 front teeth, and those were the most beautiful teeth of all. "Your front teeth are so cute," said Miss Jules. "They make you look just adorable." "But Miss Jules," said Ronde, "I don't have any front teeth." "I know," said Miss Jules. "That's what makes them so cute." Ronde didn't understand. "Ooh, Ronde, I just love your 2 front teeth," said Maurecia. "I wish I had some like that." "But I don't have them," said Ronde. "That's why I love them so much," said Maurecia. "Oh, this is silly," said Ronde. "Everybody thinks the teeth I don't have are cute. I'm not wearing a coat. Do you all just love my coat? And what about my 3rd arm? I don't have one. Isn't it lovely?" "Love your hat, Ronde," said Joy. "I'm not wearing a hat," Ronde screamed. "That's what makes it so interesting," said Joy. "Don't you think so, Leslie?" "Oh, yes," said Leslie. "It's a very nice hat. Nice boots, too." "I'm not wearing boots," Ronde insisted. "Yes," said Joy. "Very nice boots. They go so well with your hat." "What hat?" asked Ronde. "Yes," Leslie agreed. Ronde showed excellent taste by not wearing the hat or the boots. They go so well together. Ronde had had enough. She covered her head so nobody could see her hat. She put her feet under her desk so nobody could see her boots. Then she closed her mouth tightly so nobody could see her 2 front teeth. Suddenly, everyone who was sitting near her began to laugh. "What's so funny?" asked Todd. "The joke Ronde didn't tell," said Jason. "Ask Ronde not to tell it again, Todd," said Calvin. "Ronde," said Todd, "don't tell it again." Ronde was horrified. She didn't know what to do. She kept her mouth shut and just stared at Todd. To her amazement, Todd laughed. "Hey, everybody," called Todd. "Listen to Ronde's joke." Ronde didn't say a word, but the rest of the class began to laugh. Miss Jules got very angry. She wrote Ronde's name on the blackboard under the word discipline. "The classroom is not the place for jokes," she said. "But Miss Jules," said Ronde, "I didn't tell a joke." "Yes, I know," said Miss Jules, "but the funniest jokes are the ones that remain untold." Okay, said Ronde. "If that's what you want, then that's what you'll get. I'll really tell a joke. That way I won't disturb the class, and tomorrow I'll wear boots and a hat, and of course you won't like them as much as the ones I didn't wear today. But I'd better hurry up and tell my joke before you all start to laugh." There was a monkey sitting in a banana tree. He was very hungry. He knew that somewhere in the banana tree there was a magic banana, and that once he ate that banana he wouldn't be hungry any more. He ate 1 banana. That wasn't it. He was still hungry. He ate another banana. That wasn't it either. He was still hungry. Finally, after he ate his 10th banana, he wasn't hungry any more. "I knew I'd find it," he said. "It's too bad I didn't eat that one first. I wouldn't have had to waste all those other bananas." Nobody laughed. Nobody had even listened to Ronde. Miss Jules was busy teaching arithmetic, and everybody else was paying strict attention. Ronde slapped herself in the face to make sure she was really there. She was. The bell rang for recess. Ronde ran outside. She was very upset. Louis, the yard teacher, saw her. "Why the frown, Ronde?" he asked. "Come on, smile. Let me see your cute front teeth." Ronde screamed. She socked Louis in the stomach, then bit his arm with her missing teeth. And that kind of bite hurts the worst. And Chapter 14. Sammy. It was horrible. It was a horrible, stinky, rainy day. Some rainy days are fun and exciting, but not this one. This one stunk. All the children were wet and wore smelly raincoats. The whole room smelled awful. "Ugh, it stinks in here," said Maurecia. Everybody laughed. But she was right. There was one good thing, however. There was a new boy in class. New kids are always fun. Except no one could even tell what the new boy looked like. He was completely covered by his raincoat. "Class," said Miss Jules, "I'd like you all to meet Sammy. Let us show him what a nice class we can be." Leslie walked up and smiled at Sammy, but her smile quickly turned into a frown. "You smell horrible," she said. "Leslie!" exclaimed Miss Jules. "That's no way to greet a member of our class." Miss Jules wrote Leslie's name on the blackboard under the word discipline. "But he does, Miss Jules," said Leslie. "He smells awful." "You're ugly," Sammy replied. "Now, Sammy, that's no way to talk," said Miss Jules. "Leslie's a very pretty girl." "She's ugly," said Sammy. Allison spoke up. "Well, you smell terrible and are probably even uglier, but nobody can see you because you're hiding under that smelly old raincoat." "That will be enough of that," said Miss Jules. "Now, Sammy, Why don't you take off your coat and hang it in the closet? Let us all see how nice you look." "I don't want to, you old windbag," said Sammy. "That's because he's so ugly," said Leslie. "I'm sure he's quite handsome," said Miss Jules. "He's just shy. Here, let me help you." Miss Jules took off Sammy's coat for him, but underneath it was still another raincoat, even dirtier and smellier than the first one. They still couldn't see his face. "Ugh, now he smells even worse," said Mauricia. "You don't exactly smell like a rose either," Sammy replied. Miss Jules took off his second raincoat, but there was still another one under that, and the smell became so bad that Miss Jules had to run and stick her head out the window to get some fresh air. "You're all a bunch of pigs," Sammy screeched. "Dirty, rotten pigs." The smell was overpowering. Sammy just stood there, hidden under his raincoats. Miss Jules wrote Sammy's name under the word discipline. "Send him home on the kindergarten bus," said Joy. "Not with me," said Todd. Miss Jules held her nose, walked up to Sammy, and removed his raincoat. She threw it out the window, but he had on still another one. Sammy hissed, "Hey, old windbag, watch where you throw my good clothes." Miss Jules put a check next to Sammy's name on the blackboard. Then she took off another raincoat and threw it out the window. The smell got worse, for he had on still another raincoat. Sammy began to laugh. His horrible laugh was even worse than his horrible voice. When Sammy first came into the room, he was 4 feet tall, but after Miss Jules removed 6 of his raincoats, he was only 3 feet tall, and there were still more raincoats to go. Miss Jules circled his name and removed another coat. She threw it out the window. Then she put a triangle around the circle and threw another one of his coats outside. She kept doing this until Sammy was only 1½ feet tall. With every coat she took off, Sammy's laugh got louder and the smell got worse. Some of the children held their ears. Others held only one ear because they were holding their nose with the other hand. It was hard to say which was worse, the laugh or the smell. Sammy stopped laughing and said, "Hey, old windbag, if you take off one more of my coats and throw it out the window, I'll bite your head off." "They smell too bad for me to allow them in my classroom," said Miss Jules. "You can pick them up when you leave." "They smell better than you do, pighead," Sammy shouted. Miss Jules didn't stop. She took off another one of his coats, then another and another. Sammy was only 4 inches tall, 3 inches tall, 2 inches tall. At last she removed the final coat. All that was there was a dead rat. "Well, I don't allow dead rats in my class," said Miss Jules. She picked it up by the tail, put it in a plastic bag, and threw it away. Miss Jules didn't allow dead rats in her class. Todd once brought in a dead rat for show and tell, and Miss Jules made him throw that one away too. "I'm glad Sammy isn't allowed in our classroom," said Ronde. "I didn't like him very much." "Yes," said Miss Jules. "We caught another one." Dead rats were always trying to sneak into Miss Jules's class. That was the 3rd one she'd caught since September.